gone Optimus or something. I don't know.
I'll take Optimus. I think that's fitting for how this thing goes. All right, like Tom said, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. A jam-packed week last week, a jam-packed week coming up. So we're going to jump right into it. As usual, we will go over the standings, and we also had a shake-up in our predictions last week. One of us was wrong. You can guess which one of the three setting up here notched their first loss in the belt, but we'll leave that for another moment. Currently in the AFC, the standings go as follows. You have the Mustangs at 2-0, the Titans at 2-0, the Raiders at 1-1, the Bulldogs at 1-1, the Cobras and the Huskies sharing the bottom at 0-2. In the NFC, you have the Seahawks, Bucks, and Warriors undefeated at 2-0. You have the Patriots, Cowboys, and the Broncos sitting at 0-2. The guys, we had a big week last week. I think some margins of victory, a lot further than we expected. I think we were looking forward to a more competitive week. Saw some progress from certain teams, but overall, still another week where the margin of victory was rather large across the board in each game. Friday, we had the Warriors against the Cowboys. Saturday early, we had Seahawks and the Patriots. Late game there, Broncos and the Buccaneers. Early game on Sunday, we had the King Cobras and the Bulldogs. Late game there, we had the Huskies and the Titans. And the Monday Night Football, which was the Pulse game of the week, with the Raiders against the Mustangs. So jumping back up to Friday, Warriors against the Cowboys. Warriors defeat the Cowboys by a score of 69-21. Of course, me and Tom I was not on the field for that game, out due to real-life reasons. Tom was on the field, so psych. I'm not sure if you saw it. I'm pretty sure you took a glance at it. What'd you think?
I know I picked them, so I'm not gonna act like it was a huge surprise. I think was expecting a little bit more of a competition than it was. They kind of handled y'all a lot more than I thought that they would. I guess is the main thing. But I mean, they've got a team of a lot of good vets over there, so that's not anything terribly surprising, I guess. They've added a couple of people, in the off season, but the core group for the most part with Gooch and Cal over there is the same. So, I think that was one of the things that I'd said, that y'all are much newer roster as far as that went, and still gaining, the trust and ability in each other that it takes to go out and win heavily competitive games like that. So I think that was just something that would come over the course of the season. But yeah, I didn't think that the gap would be that wide.
You were out on the field. What do you think?
I mean, we definitely had some holes, in our secondary. We were getting eaten up with throws, with deep throws. The Warriors came at it, and they play hard. It was a really tough game. It was a really challenging game. Psych, you made a comment in the Hitbox chat that kind of made me chuckle. I don't know if you remember it.
I'm sure I would if you got it started.
If this has any
mentioned
referring
something
to
about
you playing, I'm going to slap you in the face.
Oh, it was. No.
Of course it would be. Tom Box, Mr. Beater of Chest over
I
here.
gotta
Jesus.
toot my horn. I don't get to toot it very often.
No tooting, Tom.
What did I say? Now you've
Your
got
tuning
me. I
stopped
know I
last
said
night.
something now, but now you upset me.
You said you basically said on my shoulders was the team.
Oh yeah. That was that time
Lines
you made
back
that. Right. You'd made a huge catch or something, but then you ran right by a fumble like you did the season before, and
I didn't run by a fumble.
I felt bad. One of y'all did.
I didn't run by a fumble. It
Oh,
was
I thought it was you.
away from me.
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah.
haven't run by one.
It was very box-esque though, so I was.
Don't worry,
You
Tom.
just saw him. You
Tom
just saw him
taught
do that.
that
Immediately thought
player
it was me.
how to recover fumbles.
I was gonna say.
Now,
It was a tough one though.
as far as where our team currently sits, looking at our schedule, and I'm a guy, if you guys know me, I'm a brutally honest individual. I'm not going to sugarcoat too many things. I knew we were staring 0-2 in the face for a multitude of reasons. One, it's like you said, I mean, we have it's still kind of a new roster. We've had a lot of turnover. I mean, we're into, I think, our third quarterback that we've played with for an extended period of time. You kind of almost could say fourth. I'm really trying to find that guy back there, Fearsome, now the quarterback for the team, settling in. That was his first week, so excited about what he's going to be able to do. And just this week as well, we added Wooderson. We added Caden Sky. I call him McDougal. So we've added a couple more players. Still trying to just find that mix, build that continuity. We have the Broncos coming up this weekend, this Friday, which would be a really good test for us. But I knew the beginning of the season was going to be tough. We really had to get through those first 2 weeks, and then we could really see ourselves begin to progress. Happy to see, unlike the week before, we were able to put points on the board. Like I said, I wasn't able to be there for real life reasons. The team didn't give up, kept fighting down to the end, and was able to get some scores. So a little bit of positive momentum in terms of that. But the two teams that we faced are in better positions than we are right now. But that doesn't mean that it's going to remain that way, because if you know anything about the players that we have on our team, we're not people are just going to sit around and allow that stuff like that to continue to happen. So I'm going to continue to push forward and get better, and hopefully this weekend put out a much better performance than we have in the past 2 weekends. So it's going to be really, really good. Plus, us and the Broncos, we're pretty close as far as you guys power rankings as you do, I think, on Tuesday nights. Or I think it was Tuesday. Tuesday, y'all do that? Power rankings show?
Yes.
And I know we're really close, so I expect it to be a good matchup for both teams there. So, but you did pick the Warriors, and you were correct in that. So congratulations, Psych, 1-0 on the weekend. Then Saturday, the early game at 4 p.m. we had the Seahawks against the Patriots. Seahawks 72, Patriots 7. We all picked the Seahawks to win. Whether or not we thought it was going to be 72-7, I felt it was going to be a pretty. I find it hard to believe, except that the Seahawks are playing like the Titans and the Bucks, maybe now the Mustangs, but really just Titans and Bucks. I feel like no score differential is going to really surprise me, however large it gets, just with the ability that this team has to just absolutely just score at will on pretty much anybody they want to. Like, what you got?
Yeah, that's not a shock, and much to everybody's impending happiness. They're running around practicing 2-point conversions, so now you don't even have to just keep up with them touchdown wise, but you have to keep up with them 2-point conversion wise. So it's just like one more layer to how much more difficult is it going to be to knock this team off. So I mean, from that standpoint, yeah, they're pretty scary. We scrim them, fairly often. We're about to set up one of those once a week deals with them for at least the month of November, and we'll see. But yeah, they're just a team that, I mean, you can get so much right on them on any one given play, and it doesn't matter because they're going to win a single matchup somewhere on the field, and you could be playing excellent football and that still be the case. So it's just going to be one of those every week. I expect them to be the favorites. I might consider picking the Titans against them again if they went heads up, since they did get the last one, but we'll see. But I mean, at least as far as I can tell right now for this foreseeable future, who wouldn't you put them the favorites against?
What you got, Tom?
I mean, it's just a powerhouse team. I think we all knew exactly what was going to happen. I think everybody at that game, watching it, knew what was coming up. The Seahawks, just with the ability to, do pretty much do anything that they want to out there on the field. I really didn't catch a lot of the game. I've watched a few minutes on Hitbox now that I've got the videos up. But yeah, so nothing surprising on this game.
Yeah, kind of just jump right back to a comment like that you made. The thing about the Seahawks, and especially, I think we're gonna put a lot of eyes on their matchup when it comes to the Titans, because the Titans did beat them in the preseason. But the Titans are one of the few teams. One just talent-wise is great, but it isn't a highly talented team that's gonna line up and try to beat the Seahawks the way the Seahawks play the game. Like with the Buccaneers and the Seahawks play, these are going to be two teams that play almost identical going at it. What gives the Titans a little bit of edge in that matchup, which of course we're going to talk about it a bunch when we get to it, whatever week it happens to be, is the fact that their style allows them, one, to hold onto the ball for a long period of time, and now with the quarterback play that the Titans are going to have, it's going to give them that explosiveness that they may have been missing in the past as well. So That's definitely going to be interesting. One of the marquee matchups that I'm looking forward to seeing in the entire season will be, of course, between those three teams. And I'm excited that we get to see Seahawks Bucks twice, and Bucks Titans, Seahawks Titans. It's going to give us a lot of great matchups right kind of in the middle parts of the season. So really looking forward to that and how the league's set up this season. So moving on to the late game, we had the Broncos and the Buccaneers, and the Buccaneers came away 77-0 winners over the Broncos. We all picked the Bucks. I felt like the Broncos would have scored, though. I didn't expect it to be 77-0. Not shocked necessarily that the Bucks put up 77, but really that they forced a shutout, and that's two straight shutouts for the Buccaneers because they shut us out in the first week as well. So a great start to the season for them. Nothing shocking there. But I was expecting the Broncos to get something on the board. What you guys got? I can go first.
Yeah, I was kind of shocked. Yeah, that's one of those teams that even here lately has been a revolving door as they kind of try and solidify their roster. I know they had Wooderson there for a little bit. The guy they were talking about signing. He's as late as like last week, and then a couple others, and then they've since brought Eric Slayton in and a couple others. So I know that they're kind of bringing and moving people in. I think that they're definitely going to be an improved team from last year, and I think that they're still a team on the rise. But I mean, being a team on the rise and being a team on the rise that could beat the Bucks are two different things. So we'll see by the time the rematch rolls around just how far the team has climbed. But I do expect a much better, team from them than last season.
You got Tom?
I mean, I was really hoping to see some points, and I said this on the last broadcast, last show is, I really wanted to see the Broncos actually put some points on the board, but it was a pretty much dominated Buccaneers game the entire time.
Yeah,
I mean there's really not much to say about that one.
Moving on, Sunday early game, Bulldogs and Cobras. This was one of the better games as far as the scoreboard indicates. Both teams came into this game at 0-2, so one was gonna be leaving with a victory, and it was the Bulldogs with a score of 54-28, shaking off their Week 1 performance and getting a good many points on the board against the Cobras team. We all picked the Bulldogs to win, so we all were correct in that one. Tom, your thoughts on this game?
I mean, it was a really good game. It was really nice to see the Bulldogs out there, performing at the level that they were performing. The Cobras put up a good fight, but the Bulldogs were just able to come down with it really well. And it by far wasn't a given game. Neither team gave it up, but the Bulldogs just fought really harder. There's a couple plays in there that kind of stood out, but unfortunately I can't remember them right now because, well, there's just a lot of drugs in my system. I even wrote them down too to talk about them, but I forgot where I've written them down at. But anyway, moving on. It was just a good game to watch. It was good. Like I said, it was good to see the Bulldogs come out, play hard, play strong, and finally put a win on their board.
What you got, Syke?
Yeah, I was. I was one of those that we played in Week 1, so I mean, I'm obviously not upset they lost that one, but definitely rooting for people here in the crowd in a minute. But yeah, no, I've got a lot of friends over there. That's a good team that definitely on the way up. I'm not shocked they won at all. I was pleasantly surprised at them dropping as many points as they did. I thought that was pretty special for that group to distinguish them from the teams that we had kind of said that they would be in the hunt as far as like trying to push forward. But they're a good story this year. They're fun to watch. It's they've got so many players over there, so many peers over there that they're just gonna keep on plugging along and doing what they do. And I'll be there pulling for them for sure. I know a lot of people are, and they're just one of those teams that you haven't seen their best effort yet, and they're right there in the thick of things. So that's a good place to be.
I think eventually they'll all be peers. Like it'll just be the Pierce Bulldogs.
Yeah, it's kind of like the zombie virus in The Walking Dead. If you ever see a Piers bite somebody, just watch. The person that got bit will probably be one the following week. It happens that way.
Well, I feel like everyone here would know that you were pulling for the Bulldogs because you're wearing the Bulldogs jersey shirt. So,
I am. Shout out 25 Pop Tart. She was at
But
our game.
anyway,
She was at our game wearing mine, so I had to throw her some
we went
return
on to the late
respect.
to the late game in on Sunday as well. And I will say this one, I was right in two ways about this game. I will say them after I say the score. It was the Huskies and the Titans won 78-0. How was I right twice? I picked the Titans, and I said it would be the
Largest
largest
point spread.
point differential
Yep.
of the entire week. Now the Bucks tried to mess me up, but they were unable to do so, falling just 1 point short of tying that. But in any case, Titans 78, Huskies 0. Picked the Titans to win. Picked it to be the largest score differential of the week, and it was both of those things. So there's not really much more to say on that. The Huskies, they're one of these teams that for the last couple of seasons have been in the same situation, and you pull hard every single week. I mean, you want to see them get better, but it's just for some reason it doesn't matter who's in there, what's going on. It's just seeming to remain the same. And I know over there they have a good time and they're enjoying themselves and everything. But you'd like to see the on the field product begin to trend upward instead of staying stagnant as it has for the last couple of seasons. So, Titans 78-0 winners over the Huskies. Got any thoughts on this one?
No, I think you said it all that there is to say. I mean, the Titans are they to me. And this, how do I say this as respectfully as possible? This is two franchises with similar builds as far as like longtime members, familiar faces, been in the league for a while, but as far as their outputs, completely different. I mean, I guess if anybody remembers way back when they were the Packers and actually won a championship, that's fine. But I mean, I'm just saying that it's been so long that
Yeah, that was a long time ago. I know.
people were running around wearing prim clothes back then. By gosh.
Heck yeah, dude. We
So
look good too.
right. Were you on that squad?
Oh yeah, I was there.
Okay. See, I didn't even know. I thought you were not in that group, but okay. Hey, cool. But yeah, I mean, it's just one of those groups that, they've been around for a while, but I mean, aside from great halftime shows in the last couple of seasons, I mean, you haven't seen a whole lot from this team, and you want to. So, here's hoping they can turn it around the week after this one, and we wish them all the success in the world after this weekend.
You got any thoughts on this one?
I really didn't get to see a bunch of it, a good bit of it, but I mean, it was to be expected. Now, I did on the last show said that the Broncos and Bucks would be the highest point differential, and I was off by 1 point.
That is true. So you tried.
I tried.
But just like our next game, you still lost.
Oh.
And you
Oh!
I put a little too much faith in Psych and the rest of the Raiders, and I was severely let down.
And we're about to talk about that game right now. It was the Monday night matchup. It was the Pulse game of the week. It was the Raiders against the Mustangs. And the Mustangs came away winners in this one by a score of 35-7. Tom picked the Raiders. I picked the Mustangs. Mustangs win. So I notch at 10-0. Psych at 10-0. And Tom tumbles below us 10-1. This game, and of course, me and Tom will talk about it, and Psych will have you give your on-the-field views of it as well. Did not go as expected, but I'm watching the game, and we commentated it, so my thoughts are already documented on how it went. There wasn't this big of a gap between these two teams. The difference in this ball game was just the Mustangs. They won so many battles when the ball was in the air. Up until maybe the last two touchdown passes, Blaze, who's the quarterback for the Mustangs, he wasn't throwing to wide open receivers. He was throwing it into people who were in coverage, and they were coming down with it. And vice versa on the Raiders side, if it was Jazzy or when they put Snipe in there, the ball, this entire game, the ball was thrown into coverage. The big difference is the Mustangs were catching absolutely everything, whether it was offensively or defensively. and we're able to get 35 points on the board. In a game that was close at halftime, just saw the Mustangs just completely run away with it in the second half. So, if I'm the Raiders, I watched this tape and I'm like, guys, all we needed to do was win some one-on-one battles. I mean, I think the first two touchdowns were into each respective corner of the end zone, and the receiver was either in one-on-one matchup or was even possibly in double coverage. Well, no, one was to the front right corner of the end zone, and the receiver won a one-on-one battle. I think Kent Voss won, and then the next one goes to big Mikey Turbo across the middle, and it sails over the head of three Raiders because they all three undercut the ball, and Mike just grabs it behind everybody and runs it for a score. So, watching the game, it wasn't like, oh my goodness, the Mustangs are so much better, are 35 to 7 points better than the Raiders. The Mustangs just made better plays than the Raiders did. Now, we know we're going to see this matchup a second time, and I think we're not going to look at a 35 to 7 game there. Because I know, Syke and your crew, you guys are going to address those issues, but scoreboard indicates 35 to 7, but on the field, it was very evenly matched. It played. I even made the comment to Tom. I said, I feel like I'm watching the same two. These teams are the same. There's just one big difference, and that's Mustangs are making plays. So, Tom, what were your thoughts? You were there with me in the booth.
Yep.
So, what did you see?
Well, I mean, honestly, it felt like I was watching a pickup game because of the offensive styles. The balls. There were no specific routes being ran, or if they were, they weren't being thrown to. It appears just as both sides quarterbacks were just chunking them up, and that's really that was pretty much the name of the game, was that, and basically the game of picks, because it would go back and forth. A ball would be thrown up and then it would get picked, and then it would throw up again and then it would get picked. So I mean, it was just a complete back and forth of the balls getting tossed up into the air, into a gaggle of players, and just the Mustangs just came down with more than the Raiders did. Didn't expect the points spread to be that much. I had the Raiders picked. I just felt like the Raiders as a whole had more talent on the team. But I was wrong.
Yeah, and one more point, and then it's like I'll jump to you. Whenever you guys, and I'm sure like many of us, we all go back and watch our games, even the ugly ones, to see, okay, what do we do here? What do we need to do here? Watching that game, and again, me and Tom were on commentary. We were calling the open receivers, which I know you guys can't hear us, but like the ball, there would be an open guy for touchdowns for the Raiders, but then the ball would be thrown across the field where all the Mustangs are. And, if the decision making from the quarterback position of the Raiders improves, then this team is going to grow significantly, because just decision making alone makes this game is not 35 to 7. We're talking about a one possession ball game. Just in the missed opportunities that I can think of, there are 14 points. You cut down on some of those turnovers. The Mustangs don't get 35. It washes itself out, and this game plays the way that it should be played, with these two teams being just about even. So, Syke, you were on the field, of course, with the Raiders. So, you heard what we had to say. Just kind of give us your thoughts on everything.
I'll be honest with you, this is one that I have not gone back and watched. I honestly don't know that I ever even will. It just experience I'd like to forget. I know what we expected to do on the field and what actually happened were two completely different things that I don't think anybody on our team was satisfied with. Now, having said that, that doesn't take anything away from what the Mustangs were doing, but it's one of those games where I felt bad looking in the eyes of my teammates as far as what I did out on the field that night. And I know from hearing from them that, that they had a tough time looking each other in the eye as well. And that's one of those things that, as somebody is in a leadership role in the team, you try to talk to people because you see coming and you're like, guys, we gotta do this, we gotta do that, and it's just like you just can't get anybody to accept that until you get an outcome that they weren't expecting. I hope that's our only lesson that we need to learn this season. But I say all that to say I don't take a single thing away from what the Mustangs were doing out on that field. They absolutely earned the game and beat us in every phase and every way possible. Yeah, it may have been a bunch of jump plays, but it felt like a whole lot more than that by the time the game was over. It was just it was rough. Our line did about as poor a job you could of either blocking or containing the run. Our secondary did them absolutely no favors on the back end, either getting the ball intercepted or failing to intercept and allow them to convert. So I mean, I'm probably not going to be a popular man at practice tonight, but I'll just be honest with you, there wasn't a single phase of that game that we played on our end that we felt like we had anything to hold our head up about. So we've had a whole lot of positive response to that, and we'll see, on down the road how much of a lesson that was learned. But you definitely want to circle the next time that we play those guys because we feel like they did not get our best shot, even though they were hitting on every single cylinder and playing just about as well as you could as a team. So hats off, they earned it. Absolutely not trying to take anything away from that. But at the same time, we feel like there's a whole lot left out there on that field that we should have done. So we'll see. But yeah, I mean, it's a long season. It's game 2. So there's a whole lot left, and we wish those guys a whole lot of success going forward to the next time we meet, obviously. But, we'll see.
That's one of those, you kind of term like a quicksand game where it's like nothing was going right, like you said. Blocking wasn't there, containment against Blaze. And if you give Blaze time, I mean, he gets the corner, he's gonna, he's gonna do what he's gonna do. Blaze is one of the best players when the ball's in his hands. So, you know, like you said, you take it for what it's worth, and it's kind of like with us when we have a poor performance, you hope that people take it as a learning experience and not like a down, like to get people down, because there's nothing to do when something like that happens but go, okay, you know what? And like you said, you look at it and go, you can't sit there and go, guys, we played the absolute best we could and we lost 35-7. It's like there's nothing but stuff to get better on. And I know that the Raiders are going to do that, and I look forward to seeing what you guys are going to do the rest of the way. And I'm going to really look forward to the next time you guys match up with that. But in any case, that is our wrap-up for week number 2. We'll run back through them and the scores one more time. We have the Warriors and the Cowboys. Warriors 69-21 victors there. Saturday, we have the Seahawks and the Patriots. Seahawks 72-7 winners there. Late game on Saturday, we have the Broncos and the Bucks. Bucks 77-0. Sunday, early game, the King Cobras, and the Bulldogs. Bulldogs 54-28. Huskies at the Titans, late game there. Titans 78, Huskies 0. And the Pulse game of the week was the Raiders and the Mustangs. And the Mustangs 35-7 winners there. Prediction records for the three of us: Syke 10-0, me 10-0, Tom 9-1. So we're going to jump right down into week 3. I'll read off the schedule. We will name our game of the week. We'll give our predictions, and then we will be out of here. So Friday, to kick it all off, we have the Broncos and the Cowboys. That is at 6 o'clock. Then we have the Seahawks and the Warriors Saturday, early game at 4. Bulldogs and Titans at 7. A Sunday, early game, 4 p.m. Raiders at Huskies. Late game, Mustangs at the King Cobras. And then wrapping it all off, Monday will be the Patriots at the Buccaneers. So, guys, I look over the schedule and a couple of really interesting matchups here. I think that our game of the week, if I was a guessing man, is probably going to fall into one of the first two. And I'm going to say Seahawks-Warriors will be my thought there. And, yes, like, to answer your question, I will. So, the Seahawks and the Warriors game I'm really looking forward to seeing gets my nod for that player, that game of the week there. So, Syke, you look over the entire schedule. Which one do you like? What do you think?
Man, it's tough for me to call from a pure competition standpoint. as far as like the most excitement, I like y'all and the Broncos. I think that's two teams that are struggling to get back in the upper mentions of teams in the league. So I mean, to me, as far as just like out of the gate excitement, that one stands out as much as anything. Um, I'd have to go through the rest of it with a fine tooth comb, but just right off the top of my head, I'd go that one.
All right, so Tom, you get to be the deciding factor as you were last week. It's either us and the Broncos, Cowboys and the Broncos. It's going to be the Seahawks and the Warriors. Which one do you give your nod for the game of the week?
See, I mean, I don't want to choose our game, but the only others, I mean, looking down at the list, I don't think Seahawks and Warriors is much of a competition there. I think the Seahawks are going to walk away with that one really easily. Patriots and Bucks, the Bucks are going to win that one. Mustangs and Cobras, Mustangs got that. It's just there's no other really close ones other than our game, and so I don't choose my game. I'm gonna let somebody in the audience choose between the Seahawks, Warriors, or the Cowboys and Broncos, because I don't want to choose our own game. That just feels weird.
Just not in
doing
good
that.
taste.
It just feels bad doing that, and so I mean, let me look at somebody randomly out there.
Kelly threw out a vote for the Cowboys.
Well, Killy is Killy's biased.
Yeah.
MF. All right. Well, we'll let what Hef said stand. We'll just go with the Cowboys and the Broncos as my vote then. At his vote.
Maybe we'll start putting this on a poll and allow teams to or individuals to vote for a game of the week and kind of see what we can get with that. So
Yep.
who knows? Maybe we can do that moving forward. Something to get more fan interaction with the show.
Oh,
But
don't
anyways,
like us.
okay.
Why would they like us?
So we'll say that then. We'll say Cowboys and the Broncos will be game of the week. El Jefe, the deciding factor in that one. Please note the two Cowboys up here, neither one voted for that game, so it wasn't picked because we picked it. Anyways, moving on.
Yep.
All right, so Psych,
Yeah.
you get to pick this game. Who do you got?
Oh, golly. I think it's going to be a lot closer than either team expects. See, this is the only one that I could possibly lose, too. It's so not fair. Let's see. I do think, just heads up, I want to say y'all 9 times out of 10, but I got a sneaking suspicion this is going to be their one. So I'm going to step out on a limb and say Broncos.
Jesus Christ, Psych.
All right, and Psych is going to
I'm
fall
just
to
saying.
0-1 early on.
Just
in the
saying.
week. Just kidding.
Jeez, you're dead. Hef,
Hey,
come
this is my thing,
come
dude.
take his spot.
He's picked against us every week, and he's been right. So until we
I was
prove
gonna
him
say.
wrong,
We've only played one game.
we played two
Or
games.
2 games.
Tom.
Sorry, 2 games.
So
Sorry.
I've played one game. You've played 2 games. But in any case, until we prove them wrong, hey, keep riding the wave of momentum.
Right.
Moving on into the next one. It's gonna be Seahawks and the Warriors. Psych, who do you got there? And if you wanna, we got time. I mean, we did really, really well running through that first week. So if there's a little snippet, a little thought you want to throw in on these games, we have plenty of time to do so. We still have 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So Seahawks and Warriors. Go ahead.
Seahawks. The Warriors are good, but they're not that good yet. So Seahawks all the way. Yeah, I just see score Seahawks for sure.
All right. Tom,
I think Killy just fired me if we lose.
probably.
She should.
Seahawks hands it down. I've already given my opinion on that one. Warriors are not at the level of the Seahawks.
I think the Seahawks are going to win this as well. I think the Warriors are gonna pose some issues for them early. But this is another one of those matchups where I'm like, this is a team trying to beat those Seahawks at what they do best. I think the Warriors are a team, to definitely keep your eye on. I picked them as my sleeper team, and I expect them to have a good effort out here against the Seahawks. I don't expect, a 77-7 or whatever the Seahawks have been rolling up. I think the Warriors will be able to get some points on the board. But it's really going to be interesting to see the matchup between, how Gucci's going to play when he's against a defense. Is one can just rush you like crazy, and 2 is just perfect on the back end as well. It's going to be a very tough task there. Seahawks, I have them winning that one. Also, all right, moving on to the next game. That is the Bulldogs and the Titans. Psych, who you got? And if you want to say why, go ahead.
I hate the placement of this game for the Bulldogs' schedule because they're coming off of a great win and then they get thrust up against one of the conference powers. So I think this is a good chance for them to measure. I don't see them being at the spot where they're going to beat the Titans yet. So I'm going to pick the Titans, but I expect a good solid showing from the Bulldogs. As long as they're not careful and let any mistake steamroll and tumble, then I think that they can keep it close. But I do think that the Titans come out on top with this one.
What you got, Tom?
I got Titans hands down on this one, I believe.
Yep, I think it'll be Titans pretty easily in that one as well. All right, Raiders at the Huskies. Now, we talk about the Raiders' performance last week. We talked about them fixing things, getting their minds right, and then here come the Huskies. If you want an opportunity to try to turn yourself around, it has been afforded for the Raiders here. And I feel that the Raiders are going to take this one pretty easily as well. I'm not going to call a point differential thing this week, but this would be getting close to getting my nod as a pretty large one. So yeah, I think the Raiders will win this one pretty straight up. What you got, Tom?
Yeah, I got the Raiders on this one as well.
All right. Moving on to the late game on Sunday, it'll be the Mustangs and the Cobras. Like, who you got?
The Mustangs by a landslide.
All right, Tom.
Yeah, same.
And I'm going to go with the same there as well. It's amazing. There's only like a couple of games that there's, one, there's not many where our votes are different, and there's only a few where some of us could lose them. So, but I think that one might be, if you're going to look at a point differential game, that one might be it. Mustangs are they're firing on all cylinders right now. Especially if they got the deep ball going, they're going to be able to create some running lanes for Blaze. I'm going to assume he will be quarterback moving on for the foreseeable future, which I think is a really good call with the weapons that they have there. And I think we'll see the Mustangs pull that one out pretty easily. So this is going to take us to the Monday night game. It's going to be the Bucks and the Patriots. Mike, who you got?
Bucks and the Patriots. That is going to be the Bucks. These teams played last season, the last I remember in the playoffs, and was a lot closer than everybody thought that it would be back when they were not the Bucks, they were the Dolphins. And I think that they are just coming in, the Bucks, with the mindset of remembering how close it was the first half of that last time. And I think that they're going to just prove exactly, where they're at this year. And they're just going to look to impose that will on the Patriots as much as possible. So I don't think that the Patriots are going to be able to stay with them. So I'm going Bucks.
What you got, Tom?
Bucks.
And I'm going to say Bucks as well. So we'll roll back through them one more time. Friday, kicking it off with the Cowboys and the Broncos. That will be the Pulse game of the week. And Saturday, early game, will be the Seahawks at the Warriors. Late game, Bulldogs and Titans. Early game on Sunday, Raiders and Huskies. Late game, Mustangs and King Cobras. And Monday will be the Patriots at the Bucks. So, guys, that wraps it up for us here. We will do our usual house cleaning duties at the end, as we always do. If you're interested in being a commentator, streamer, being a part of the show, doing anything with media, contact any of the guys you see up here, Tom, Syke, or myself. We will get you pulled in the right direction, get you all the things that you need. If you would like to be a guest on the Pulse, simply contact and ask us. We're not looking for anybody permanent, but if you'd like to hop in a week, just run your mouth, have a good time, and do what we do, feel free to do so. Just simply contact one of the three of us, and we'll make sure that you get what you need, and so that you can be with us. Also, don't forget that there is a power ranking show that is every Tuesday night. That is Syke, Rhino, and Rayon. So, Syke, if you have anything for that, if you'd like to throw that out right now, go ahead.
Sorry, say it one more time.
The power ranking show.
Oh,
you have
yeah.
anything you want to say about it?
Yeah, we've got. Oh, sorry. Tom will thank me later. We've got. Yeah, just watch the stream. We've got our Tuesday afternoon thing. Rhino couldn't be at the last one. For the most part, we're pretty settled in on those. And then we do it every Tuesday, the same time that this show comes on. It's 5 o'clock SL. We run about 30 minutes to an hour, so it's a lot of good times. Blueberry's been named as official sponsor. Pretty quick, we'll have some giveaways. Around her, I'll let her make those announcements, so I don't want to steal any of her thunder. So be ready. And I've discovered from doing a lot of shows and seeing a lot of crowds that I've had to settle down on my ego a little bit. Nobody's coming to these things to see me or y'all. It's all about the stuff that Blueberry gives away. So. Um, we'll get started back again with that pretty quick and have some fun. But yeah, I hope everybody can tune in. We do enjoy a lot of what ifs and stuff like that on that show, so it's fun.
Definitely. If you are also interested in being a ref, which we always need, there is always a shortage of refs. We will never have too many or enough. Contact Razton McAndrews. That is Raz09 resident here in World. Also, if you can't get in touch with him, you can contact any of us, and we can always point you wherever you need to go. If you want to be a photographer, Duchess Button is your point of contact there. But then yet again, you can simply contact one of us with anything that you need in terms with the UFL, and we will get you pointed in the right direction, get your name to the people that it needs to get to. If you would like to be a sponsor for the Pulse, simply again contact any one of us up here. We would love to have that to incorporate some sponsors for each and every one of our segments, maybe do some giveaways with that as well, not infringing upon what the Power Ranking Show is doing in terms of that. Next week, we will start announcing player of the games and in working for a player of the week as well as a game of the week. Do you guys have any other thoughts before we wrap up?
Nope.
No, I'm good.
All righty then. I want to thank you guys for joining us here on the Pulse for week number 3. We'll see you guys next Thursday when we will be here live at 5 o'clock yet again. See you guys tomorrow night on the same location as the Cowboys kick it off with the Broncos in the game of the week. Y'all have a good night.
Good night.